From the first 5 to the last chapter of the preview PC version of Mafia Definitive Edition, it is evident that Hangar 13 made this game with passion and love. They did a tremendously good job at bringing back this 2002 classic to life and will definitely remain to be one of the most memorable remakes of this era. Intriguing and cinematic storytelling and trend-setting gameplay, the original Mafia is one of the best games in the previous decade. 2K Tech, the developers of the original game, introduced various and new features to the limited open-world genre, which was then dominated by Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It captured an audience that was longing for a richer and grander experience of the criminal underworld. Undoubtedly, the needs of games back then were quenched by Mafia, and it started a new standard in the genre. Fast forward to 2020, Mafia Definitive Edition is a total repackage of the classic game. Apart from the proprietary game engine of Hangar 13 and game assets, the game introduces new soundtrack and control mapping. While there was not any significant change in the plot, the script was rewritten to make it more accurate during the time of the game's setting. Most of the cast in the original game also returned to reprise their role, including Marek Vasut as Thomas Tommy Angelo. Perhaps the most obvious changes are the game's engine and graphics. It beautifully flourished from its blocky 2002 version and is one of the games that I have played with very accurate motion capture implementation. Each turn of Tommy, your character, is motion captured in any direction, and it is impressive to see him move gracefully along the streets of Lost Heaven, the game's version of 1930 Chicago. Every part of the city is picturesque. You can pause the game anytime and take a screenshot of any scene. It looks good during the day and it is at its finest at night. I was preoccupied with the progress of my story during my preview playthrough, so I was limited by taking photos while inside my shiny vintage car. The game does not have any photo mode features, but I hope that they will consider so in the future. The game's beauty is very accessible to console and PC gamers. The minimum requirements to run the game on PC would not push gamers to upgrade. The game will run theoretically with the following specifications. If you want to smoothly play the game, 2K's recommended specs are not too demanding either. While this is the case, expect your game to run, albeit not as great as the screenshots and videos you're seeing in these first impressions. For benchmarking, I played the preview version of the game on PC with the code provided by 2K and benchmarked it in various graphic settings: high, optimal, medium, and low. For reference, here's the specs of our gaming PC. The game shines at high settings with very minor FPS jank. As I scrabble through the display settings, I am presented with presets that allow me to tweak specific elements of the game that range from geometry detail, vegetation, decals, direct or indirect lighting, shadow, reflection, volumetric effects, and anti-aliasing. Average FPS, represented with the white bar, is at 65.2 at one of the busiest corners of the game and 59.6 while driving around St. Michael Cathedral. The best preset that is automatically calibrated for your system is the optimal setting. This preset gave me the best performance without a sacrifice in quality. While this is the case, the performance of both medium and low presets does not affect the overall experience. Quality is relative per system, so whatever data you are seeing may not be reflective of your experience on your own system. Mafia Definitive Edition is the remake we deserve, and 2K and Hangar 13 poured all their effort to produce a game that's worthy of praise. It is too early to speak of our verdict of the game, but having played 6 chapters of the game gives me the reason to believe that this is the Mafia we long to have. Some may perceive this as a proper redemption of the seemingly flawed remaster of Mafia 2 and 3. Still, I see it as a redemption of something else. Mafia Definitive Edition redeemed itself from the shackles of technological irrelevance. Its story remains unforgettable, and reliving it with its improved graphics further rates its bar as one of the best games of our generation.